So good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Some of you are Jamboree students, but I noticed that a majority of you are not Jamboree students. So very briefly, those of you who are not Jamboree students, so we have been doing GMAT training, GRE training, university admissions counseling, etc. since 1993. We are India's oldest, institute of this kind. Everybody else who do GMAT coaching or all these things nowadays, everybody started after us. So in a way, you can say that we are the most experienced team in India. We have centers, physical centers in 39 locations across 22 cities and 4 countries. We also have a very strong digital learning team. We have been teaching online since 2012. Oh, so when the whole pandemic thing started, the lockdown started, we were able to transition from classroom teaching to online teaching literally overnight. We did not miss even a single class during this process. All our classes have been running online, since March of 20, this year, March, 21st March 2020. And whenever we do open, whenever the government allows us to open coaching centers, all our students who have been taking classes online, they are welcome to repeat the classes in the classroom setup also. So having us having a a network of 39 centers ensures that students can come to the centers to take their mock tests, etc., meet their faculty one on one. So that's a big difference between us and other companies who run only online classes, right? So you student can actually come and meet the faculty if he or she wants to. So this is a little bit about us. uh, if you want a free demo of a GMAT or GRE class, in today's session I'm not going to talk about GMAT or GRE or any tricks for those exams. I'm not going to talk about those. But if you want to schedule a demo class, a free demo class for either GRE or GMAT, you can leave your number in the chat. A team will get in touch with you and will schedule this session for you, right? And your chat, your messages are coming only to me, so you don't have to worry about your numbers getting to other people. So I see a lot of you are typing, so I will take a pause to help you to like allow you to complete the typing. So if you want a free demo of a GMAT or GRE class about how we teach, or if you want a profile evaluation session about whether you should be doing the MBA now or whether you should do it a couple of years later, or is there still time to apply to universities, any those kind of questions. If you want to be addressed one on one, customized answers for yourself, leave your number in the chat and our team will schedule a session with you. So Nihar Matre Jamboree has a center in Vashi and a center in Thane. So in Mumbai, we have got centers in 5 locations: Dadar, Andheri, Borivali, Vashi, and Thane. So I hope that answers your question. So in Delhi, actually, Delhi NCR, we have lots of centers. In Delhi, we have got New Friends Colony, we have got Achini, we have got Pitampura, Hudson Line, Raja Garden. We have got in Noida, we have 2 centers. We have got one center in Greater Noida. We have got 2 centers in Gurgaon, one in Noida, one in Greater Noida, one in Faridabad. So yeah, we have a pretty strong presence in New Delhi, in Delhi NCR. In Hyderabad, we have centers in Begumpet, Madhapur, and Kukatpalli. So in Chennai, we have got centers in Adyar, Annanagar, Nungambakkam, and Tambaram. So we are pretty spread out. In almost all cities, we have got in Bangalore, we have got in HSR layout, in Jayanagar, in Indiranagar, and Malleshwaram. So yes, we have centers in almost all the big cities. We have centers in Kolkata, Indore, Ahmedabad, Jaipur, Pune. So yeah, a whole lot of 39 centers. So obviously a lot of centers. So you can go to our website and check out the details of the addresses, etc. All right, moving on. So the how we would do this session is that first do let me communicate the information that I want to communicate, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. While I'm speaking, please don't type your questions in the chat window. I'm going to disable the chat, and only when I ask you questions, I'm going to enable the chat. So I would like you to pay attention to what I'm saying, and like basically absorb the information. And no need to take notes. This session is going to be recorded. Okay, moving on. So first we'll start, which program to attend, which course to attend, which university to attend. All that question has to start with the most basic question is, why are you even considering an MBA education? Why are you considering a management education? When I say management, it does not have to mean only MBA. It can mean a master's in management, MSc in management. It can mean any kind of management program. First, ask yourself, why are you considering this step? So some of the most common reasons, for that Indian students, choose to pursue a management education. These are the reasons. First, they want to expedite their career growth. So, you may be on a certain career path, right? And to reach wherever you want to reach, let's say, it's gonna take you 10 years if you continue on the same path. But if you do an MBA, so that 10 years, let's say that will, that's gonna become 4 or 5 years. So that's what I mean by expediting career growth, right? That you want to like give a jump start to your career. So next reason is, to switch role or industry. This is actually the biggest reason among Indian students, Indian MBA students. They want to do the management education to switch role or even industry. Let's say you are a software engineer. Now you want to get into the consult and into the business side, a business analytics kind of side. Or you don't want to be in the software industry anymore. You want to do like, get into finance. So if people who are looking for switching either the role or the industry, for them MBA happens to be a good tool. And this, as I said, is the biggest reason why Indian students pursue management education. Next is entrepreneurship, right? So entrepreneurship is, it's nowadays, at least, it's becoming one of the pretty, big reason. Students want to do the MBA and then get some work experience for a couple of years and want to start their own business. And the business need not be even in their own country, so it can be in the Silicon Valley, it can be in the finance districts of, Singapore, Dubai, etc. But entrepreneurship is a big thing. So these are the three most common reasons why students want to do an MBA. So I'm sure, it's you guys will also fall into one of these buckets. In my 13-14 years of in being in this industry, I have not come across a single student who wants to do a management degree for the sake of learning. There are students who would come and say that, I want to do an MBA because I want to learn. So my question ends up being, why do you think that you need to learn? What do you think you need to learn for? So because you have to do the learning for something. It's up. If you want to spend 25 to 40 lakhs in learning, nobody does that, right? So it has to be your reason for wanting to do a management education is often in one of these three buckets, right? So take a moment and first, assess yourself, understand why you, particularly you, want to go for the management education. Okay, pick your bucket. That will help you then choose, the next thing, the programs, the universities. It will help you, decide, because switching role or industry would need a different strategy versus expediting your career growth. Expediting your career growth is easier. You are not changing industry, you are not changing role, you just want to, like, get there faster, right? So that, that is easiest thing to do. And for that, you don't have to be very fastidious or very picky about the program or the, specialization that you are going for. But for the other two things, you have to take the decisions accordingly, right? If you want to switch from a software to a finance kind of domain, then you have to pick a business school or pick a program which will help you do that switch. Very often people with 5-6 years of work experience, if they want to switch to a totally different kind of industry, then after the MBA when they start looking for jobs, they realize that they are, they're not getting the kind of salary that they are expecting. So if you are in the in the second category, if you are, your reason for doing the MBA is this, then you have to be very particular about the program and the specialization that you are opting for. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Now some decision points. Let's say you decided, that you want to do the management program for this reason, whatever the reason is. Then you have to decide, which university. So students start thinking first of all about university. Which university should I go to? But there is a thing that you have to decide first, but which program. There's a difference between program and university. So I mean, program can mean, should you be doing an MBA? Should you be doing a master's in management? If you want to do an MBA, then what kind of MBA? Should you be doing an MBA with a specialization in operations management or data analytics, business analytics? What kind of program you want to do? So that is the first step actually. The university thing comes next. First, you have to decide the program. Then you have to look for, which university is the best in that, or that program, in which university you will have the maximum job opportunities, etc., etc. Right. So the program, the specialization decision, that has to come first, and then the university part. And another big thing, I don't think anybody just does the MBA because for the sake of learning. I may be wrong, but at least I have not seen anything like that. So you have to think in terms of return on investment also, right? And this is particularly important for people with more than 6-7 years of work experience. So is there anybody here who has more than 6-7 years of work experience? If yes, can you raise your hand? People who have more than 6-7 years of work experience. Okay, so I see quite a few raised hands. So for you, as I said, so somebody who is a fresher, or somebody who has 3 to 4 years of work experience, for them, then MBA is always going to be, helpful, and MBA, from no matter what, will always give them a boost in their career. But people with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I mean, the more work experience you get, your choice of university will end up depending on the ROI. What I mean is that, uh, you have to look what salary you are currently at, right? And after doing the MBA, if you're going for an MBA, so you are, of course, you are not earning for those 1 or 2 years, right? And then you'll have to look for a job. So you have to make sure that financially you are not like starting at a point that is behind where you are currently at. So your university choice would have to be dependent on that, right? That you have to pick a business school in such a manner where the starting salaries, or where you would end up getting a salary far higher than what you are currently at, right? So that's why I usually say that anybody whose current CTC is already at a 20 to 25 lakhs. So if you're already earning around 25 lakhs per year, right? So your choices become limited. Your choice. So anybody here who's if you can raise your hand, if your current salary is more than 25 lakhs per year, can you raise your hand? Okay, there are a few of you. So you guys have to be very careful while choosing the business school. So any Asian business school other than INSEAD in Singapore, any Asian business school, is not going to be worth your while, right? Your salary is already at the the higher level. So you have to either go to an American business school, Canadian, or European. But the Asian business schools, even a school as good as an NUS, NTU, or forget the Indian business schools altogether. So anybody who is currently at a annual CTC of 25 lakhs, your choice of business schools would come down to the destinations also, right? If you do an MBA from an Indian business school or Asian business school, so you will be losing your salary for a year, plus you'll be investing some in your for the MBA to make sense for you, you have to get a far higher salary than the average salaries of these business schools. So do be very careful, while choosing your business school. So these are some things that you have to take into consideration, and it's extremely subjective. I don't want to make a general statement. It where you are currently at in your life, in your career, where you want to be, what kind of financial situation you are at. All these things, will decide what kind of program, which university, etc., that you should be opting for, right? So do these are the kind of the decision points. Think of these, while choosing your program, right? Okay, so now some course options. So MBA, of course, is the most popular management program that Indian students opt for. For people with less than 1 year work experience, people who are currently students, MIM is a good option. MIM stands for Masters in Management. So it's not an MBA, it's a Masters in Management, right? So after this, after doing a Masters in Management program, you work for 4 or 5 years and then you do your MBA later on. After an MIM degree abroad, the kind of jobs that you would get will improve your profile, will enhance your profile a lot in such a manner that when you finally apply for the MBA program, you have a shot at the topmost business schools in the world, right? So MIM, I usually recommend that anybody with less than 1 year of work experience, instead of the MBA, you might want to consider the option of MIM. Now there are some academic degrees. So MIM and MBA are purely management degrees. The kind of jobs that you end up doing are kind of similar. Now there's some academic management courses like MS Finance, MS in Logistics and Supply Chain Management, MS Technology Management, MS Operations Management, MS Business Analytics. So these are all business masters. They are called business masters. And people with less work experience, people with like work experience of less than 2 years. So these are good options for them. Why? Because after you have done a business masters program, you still have that option of doing an MBA sometime later in the future. Now, you may end up doing an MBA from a far better college, then you can get admission like now. So for people with less than 2 years of work experience, do consider the business masters programs as well. Now, in terms of specializations, so yeah, marketing is also there. Somebody is asking what about marketing. So yes, marketing is also there. And nowadays digital marketing is also there, but these are like the top options that Indian students go for, right? So there are different other kind of MS, business masters as well. So so there are lots of I repeat, these are the top programs, top business masters programs that Indian students opt for. There are lots of other programs also, like masters in international business, masters in organizational behavior, masters in human resources. There are lots of MS masters programs, masters in accounting. So whole bunch of them. These are just the top masters programs, top business masters programs that Indian students opt for. Okay, now in terms of specializations, these are specializations for MBA. So there are tons of specializations that so everybody knows about the common ones. Everybody knows finance, everybody knows marketing. So MBA marketing, MBA finance, MBA consulting, MBA. So these are the common ones, right? So, but there are a lot of other programs also that you need to be aware of, right? So, for instance, there's MBA General Management. So people with with more work experience, people with more than 7-8 years of work experience, you may want to go for the general management option. On the other hand, people with just 2-3 years of work experience don't opt for the general management specialization. Right? General management doesn't mean that it is like a MBA pass course. It's not like that. General management is also a specialization. General management is what a CEO does, what a general manager does. That means an overall view of the business. So you will be learning everything, little bit of everything. You will learn literally how to run an organization. Therefore, people with just 2, 3, 4 years of work experience don't opt for this program, right? People with more work experience, for you, this is a better option. Now, by the way, this consulting program, those of you who are looking to shift, if you are in software now, you want to shift to, let's say, finance. Instead of applying for finance, if you apply for consulting, then it is better, it is easier to explain your reasons, and it is more feasible also. Somebody from just a like software background or something else wanting to go for finance is a difficult ask. even if you do end up doing the MBA finance, recruiters would always prefer students with prior finance work experience. Therefore, consulting happens to be a very good program for people looking for shifting industries, right? uh, Engineers with less work experience, these are like good programs. They You need a like data analytics program, and like a technology management program. So these are good, data analytics or business analytics, same thing. So these two programs, data analytics and technology management, these are good programs for engineers, with just 2 to 3 years of work experience. The reason is that these are little bit quantitative heavy, right? The curriculum requires you to little bit, to have a strong quantitative background. Plus, these are up and coming, industry. Analytics industry is an up and coming industry, and they like engineers. So these two programs are very highly employable, requires a quantitative bent of mind. So these are good, right? Doctors, we get lots of doctors who want to do an MBA. So the healthcare is like a healthcare option is good for them, right? Entrepreneurship, anybody can go for. People who have work, who have lots of voluntary work experience, not work experience, voluntary experience. People who have worked with NGOs, so then social entrepreneurship is also a good option for them, right? So, some of you are asking, with IT experience, can't we offer? Yes, you can go for any of these finance. You can go for anything. But as I said, imagine this situation. That you have 2 3 years of IT experience. You are applying for MBA finance. So, what will you write in your essays? How will you convince the university that why that you want to do MBA finance, that you will be good at it? Plus, after you do the MBA, the recruiters would always give preference to students who have prior finance experience. Therefore, marketing, these two, unless you are in the industry, it's slightly difficult, to get jobs after you do that if you're not from the same industry. So the recommendation is that you can anyway apply for anything you want to, but our recommendation is that people who are looking for, like, for shifting to the finance domain or shifting to the marketing domain, so you might want to go for consulting instead, right? Because consulting is also different types of, types of, there's finance consulting, there's marketing consulting. Consulting is a very very big domain. So within consulting, you can go for finance consulting instead of targeting the hardcore finance domain, right? So do your background work also a little bit about these different specializations. Okay. So we get lots of people from merchant navy. So for them, this is like a ready-made, tailor-made program. Most of them go either for logistics and supply chain management, or for operations. So these two are good options for people who are from the merchant navy, or army background, defense background, in any kind of those. We get some IAS officers too, so for them the general management option is good, but some of them also opt for the operations thing, right? We had last year, I had an IAS officer student, so he went for sustainable business programs. So what your it's good if your current work experience is related to the program that you're applying for. It is good. But in case that is not happening, in case that is not the case, then consulting is a good bridge. Okay. All right, moving on. So now this is again, a very very subjective thing, whether with your profile, what you be going for, what is it that you can do well at, etc. So so if you want to discuss, so if you want to discuss what program would suit you, then you can leave your number in the chat. So if you want to know what kind of specialization, or what kind of if you want to have a more detailed one-on-one discussion about what kind of specialization you should go for. So it is, even in the like IT industry, if you have worked for banking, in the banking sector, in finance operations, then MBA finance may be a good option for you, right? But it is extremely subjective. However, if you want to shift to a completely different domain, if your work experience is in no way related to that domain, then always consider consulting as a, as a bridge. You don't have to leave. You don't have to give your name. I can see your names. You are using your names to like register for this session, so I can see your names. So you don't have to give your names. Okay. Okay, moving on. So I can still see that some of your typing. So please go ahead and complete your typing. So next thing I would want to talk a little bit about the university options. Now that we have covered the different programs, different specializations that you can you can opt from. Now the next question is, what are the different universities? In today's day and time, what are the good universities that you can opt for? So in India, your options are simple. And I am only talking about the programs. These programs, they accept GMAT. If you are taking the CAT, then there is a whole bunch of universities open for you. But if you are taking the GMAT route, okay, so India GMAT, so these are these colleges in India where you can apply with your GMAT score. So with your GMAT score, you can definitely apply ISB. This is the number one program when it comes to number of students applying. ISB, Great Lakes, a bunch of IIMs, and these are the 1 year. Most of the Indian programs are 1 year programs. ISB and Great Lakes are also 1 year programs. A lot of the IIMs nowadays have the 1 year programs that you can opt for, but they have work experience cutoffs. IIM Lucknow, they want a 6 year. They have a 6 year requirement. Some of the IIMs have a 5 year requirement. So ISB has a 2 year requirement. Accelerate, they have 5 year requirement, 5 year work experience requirement. So the Indian schools that accept the GMAT for admission, so they have a work experience requirement. So do check those out. SPJAN Mumbai, the 1 year program has a work experience requirement, but the 2 year program does not. The 2 year program accepts the CAT also, right? So for CAT, if their cutoff is 80, 85 percentile, for the GMAT, their cutoff is 680 or 690. It varies year to year, right? So what we have seen is that people have difficulty getting the 85 percentile, in the on the CAT, but they are comfortably able to get the 680 or 690 on the GMAT. So we get a lot of students who take the GMAT and apply to the 2 year SPJAN program. Right? So these are some. This is not a comprehensive list. These are the topmost programs that Indian students opt for. Right? And there are no cutoffs, by the way. SPJAN is the only SPJAN 2 year program is the only one which imposes a cutoff. For everything else, they will look at the entire profile. The admissions criteria includes your academic record, your GMAT scores, your what kind of work experience. If you don't have work experience, then what kind of internships, etc., that you may have done, what kind of extracurricular activities you have. There are application essays, letters of recommendation, the CV, all of those form the admissions criteria. So it's not just one thing that they look at, right? So for the rest of Asia, so Indian college we of course covered. For the rest of Asia, these are the top programs. National University of Singapore, NTU. So these two are in Singapore. These three are in Singapore actually. So then there is University of Hong Kong, Hong Kong University, and HKUST. They are in Hong Kong. But currently, we are not recommending students to go for the Hong Kong universities. They are very good, but I am sure all of you know that Hong Kong is going through a massive phase of political unrest. So we are not recommending students to opt for Hong Kong universities till the situation settles down. Uh, so SEEPS China, this is in China. So Singapore, this also. So there are four universities in Singapore that are really good universities. They are good brand names. Any of these on your CV would look good. The INSEAD program, is exactly like the INSEAD France program. It's ranked at the same rank, and it is equally good, right? And also difficult to get in. But in Asia, these are your options. We get students who want to like go abroad, but not go far away. So for them, Asia, the Singapore is a good destination. Now we come to the US, right? So the US is where most of the like they have the largest number of universities, right? And in US, it's not like top 10, top 5. So how we like to think of the US business schools is that first there is top 25 universities. They for those you would definitely need a 700 minimum GMAT score. And if I were to compare those universities to the Indian scenario, so we can say that they are as good as the IIMs. In India, the IIMs, not just random IIMs, but the IIM, ABCLIK, right? So the top 25 universities in the US are equivalent to the IIM, ABCILK in India, right? And Harvard, Wharton, some of the best universities in the world, they come, for this under this category. So it's for MBA, MIM, MA, any kind of management program, right? So they are the top 25 in the US, and it's all. I mean, it's you if you want a fighting chance, then you have to target at least a 700 GMAT score. Then the next 50 are equivalent to the newer IIMs in India, right? Like your IIM Kashipur, IIM Nagpur, IIM Raipur, these kind of IIMs where you don't need a 99 percentile in CAT or 98 percentile in CAT to get admission. You can get admission with your 95 percentile also. So that's like what is this next 50 list looks like, right? And you have got a bunch of really good colleges, so you have got, Simon, Rochester Simon is one of the best colleges for finance, Vanderbilt, OSU, Fisher. So some of the very strong programs are in the next 50 list. And you need a score of 620 to 700, depending on your profile. If you have more than 6-7 years of work experience, you can get with a 620, 630 kind of GMAT score also, right? So this is the next kind of list that you can look at, and they are all great placements. They are not as expensive as the Harvards, Whartons, and MITs. So that's another plus. Then comes the next next 150 list of 150 colleges in the US, which if I have to equate to India, so they would be like the IMT Ghaziabad, MDI Gurgaon kind of universities, XLRISE and SPGen. So they are not IIMs. They don't have that brand name of IIM, but they are still great. They are still great at placements, right? So that's what this list is like. So they don't have the brand name of an IIM. Don't have the brand name of a Harvard or Wharton, but you get excellent jobs. And the plus point is that they are not as expensive as a Harvard or Wharton, right? So this, in fact, so you can get like at half the price, you get a great degree with great placements, right? And most of these universities are located in in the heart of big cities such as NYC, New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles. So their location is another big plus. Okay, so getting a job is always easier, if your university is located in big cities, right? Okay, so if you have to look at the US, you have got literally like 200 universities to pick from, and there's a school for everyone. Then Canada. Now Canada of late has become actually as popular as the US universities, right? And the last 4 years, because of the whatever was happening in the US, because of the president and everything, we had lots of students who were going to Canada instead of the US, right? So these universities, they are extremely good, but the problem with Canada is that there are only just 5-6 good universities. So these are not the top Canadian universities. These are the only good Canadian universities. So if you have to look at Canada, if Canada is one of your options, then you should go to one of these business schools. Anything less is probably not worthwhile, not worth your money. right? So these are the top, these are the top business schools in Canada. Great jobs, excellent career opportunities, and they are Rothman. Some of them are expensive. Rothman is expensive. Richard Ivey is expensive, but the others are not as expensive as, as the top US universities. So anybody who applies to the US also applies to a few colleges in Canada. That has been the strategy. That has been the strategy for most students. Then Europe, so Europe, some of the most reputed universities, the most oldest universities, such as the Oxford, Cambridge, London Business School, they are in the US, right? They are in Europe. However, my recommendation is that, probably don't go to the go to the UK universities for the time being. Let's see how the whole this Brexit thing pans out, and maybe a couple of years later. But right now the UK colleges may not be a good option. However, you have other options. However, you have other great options in other countries. HEC Paris, it's great jobs, and great placements. INSEAD in France again, so your ISAID and IESC in Spain. The up and coming destination, in Europe is actually Netherlands. These two business schools have really been doing well in the last 4 or 5 years. Amsterdam Graduate Business School and Rotterdam. So what's happening is that a lot of the companies, because of the uncertainty around UK, because of Brexit thingy, they have been hiring a lot. They have been making their bases in Netherlands, especially Amsterdam. So Amsterdam is a happening business hub, and this is a time to hop onto the Amsterdam train. You are at the beginning of a economic boom. You are going to get jobs. So therefore, as I said, last 3 4 years, Amsterdam, the business schools in Amsterdam have been doing really well. Our students who have gone there have ended up getting great jobs. So these are your options in Europe. There are other options also. This is not a comprehensive list by any means, but these are some of the top business schools that students are considering. So Amsterdam is an English speaking city. So there is no language problem there. In Germany, some of you are looking for Germany. So Mannheim is a good business school, but in Germany, getting a job can be tricky if you are not fluent in German by the time you are done with your MBA. So any country where English is not the first language, you will always stumble a bit, right? But that's not the problem with your in Amsterdam or UK or etc. Now some of you were looking for, again, as I said, people with less than 1 years of work experience. I would always recommend them to do the MIM degree instead of the MBA program. These are some of the top programs for MIM across the world. They and Getting an MIM degree from one of these programs is equivalent to getting an MBA degree from a tier 2 college, right? In terms of salaries that you would get. So if you do a London School of Economics MIM, you would be getting as high a salary as an MBA from a lower end business school. So you have to take that also into account, because these are really big brand name business schools. A degree from there is always going to look good in your CV, right? Then of late, actually, this is a story of the last 7 8 years. Universities outside India, they are kind of realizing that some students want to do their MBAs right after their bachelor's degree, right? Uh, mostly MBA programs are done by students after getting some work experience. However, in the last few years, in the last 7 8 years, universities have started offering MBA programs, especially for freshers where work experience is not required. So some of you who are freshers, some of you who are still in college, if you're sure that you want to do an MBA right now, then these are some options for you. These are some of the top universities in the world, and they offer special MBA programs for freshers. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, you can. Anyway, this session is getting recorded, and we'll be sharing the recording with you. But people who are currently in college and who are good students doing very well, if you are able to get a 720, 730 kind of GMAT score, then you should you should apply, definitely apply for these MBA programs offered by the top business schools, especially for these programs are especially for freshers. Right? Okay. All right, so that's all I wanted to communicate. If any of you, if you want little more details about your particular suitability for the program, for a certain program, if you want to talk a little bit more, we'll be happy to do so. Tomorrow again we are connecting. Tomorrow we are going to connect about how to, why you should be doing, what to write in your applications, etc. It's a very important session. Do attend that. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. I'll give you mic access, then you can ask your questions. If you, those of you who have any questions, please raise your hand. I will give you mic access. In the meantime, there's a poll on your screen. Some of you joined late. Those of you who joined late, please answer the poll on your screen. Yes, Vishal Patel, what's your question?
Ma'am, actually I wanted to pursue a master MBA International Business, but currently there are no good options. So I am planning to go for masters in international business. So I'm getting really confused. Should I go for masters in management in international business, or directly I should opt for masters?
So how many years of work experience do you have?
I'm still a student. I'm planning to go without work experience. That only I'm getting confused in that thing. Should I pursue an MIM or a masters?
Are you, Vishal, an interesting question for you. Are you a good student? Are you in the top 5% of your class?
Ma'am, not like top 5%, but in top 20%, I can tell.
So do you think you will be able to get a GMAT score of 720 plus?
No, ma'am.
In that case, then go for MIM.
Okay. So, ma'am, MIMs generally do not require work experience, right?
Yeah, yes, yes. Less than 1 year work experience. Yes.
And ma'am, and ma'am, I've been told that uh, in abroad that there is no freshers MBA. It is called as deferred MBA. First, you get a certain amount of work experience, and then you will start with the MBA program. I wanted to know about the MBA programs without work experience. Like, can you?
So, you see the screen that I showed you?
Yes,
There
ma'am.
right. So there are these deferred MBA programs, but they are offered by the top universities, like your Harvards and Yale, etc., etc. Where it will be difficult to get admission unless a student is an extremely good student in top 5% of his class and who has 720 plus. But it's not a general phenomenon. Also, it's not that every university has a 2+2 has a deferred MBA program. There are universities which have direct MBA programs also, by the way. So it's not that every university will have the deferred MBA program.
But
But
are they worth it?
I would still think that you should go for an MIM. The reason is that after you have done an MBA MIM, your work experience is going to be good, right? So
Yes.
4 or 5 years down the line, when you have like enough money of your own, you can do an MBA from a far better university.
Okay. Ma'am, and I want to ask one thing. Do MIMs require GMAT?
Yes, they do.
And ma'am, actually, I had one more issue that according to Indian education system, I only have 15 years of education, and
That's
some
okay.
Canadian universities require 16 years of
Not
education.
all, not all, not all of them. So the acceptability of the Indian 3 year degree has expanded a lot, since the last 10 years. So there will be a lot of MIM programs for you where you will be able to apply even with a 3 year degree.
Okay.
So Vishal, are you a Jambori student?
No, ma'am.
Have you left your number in the chat?
Ma'am, I'll leave my number in chat. Ma'am,
Yeah, yeah. So
and one more
I will have
question.
somebody because there are a lot of other people waiting. So leave your number in the chat. I will have a counselor call you so that you can have a longer, one-on-one
Okay,
discussion.
ma'am. Okay, sure, ma'am.
Right. All right. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, Anselo, Anselo here. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Anselo here. Can you you can unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Can you be on hold? Yes, good evening, ma'am. My name is Ash Loya. I have the plan to do international business. I have 15 months of experience.
15 years of experience. You have got 15 years of work experience.
15 months.
15 months. Oh yeah,
It's
that should be fine. That should be fine.
So it's good for me. So I
Yeah, yeah,
want
yes.
to. I'm not sure for US. What other
Come,
countries can?
your voice is breaking. I'm not able to hear you clearly.
I'm not sure for US, ma'am.
Okay, so there will be options for you. Yes, it's fine. It's a you have less work experience, so the MIM or the masters in management makes sense for you. You can also apply to a
Okay.
see by the time you apply and go, you will actually end up having 2 years of experience. So you can actually apply to a mix and match of colleges. In some programs, in some universities, you can apply for MBA. In some universities, you can apply for MIM, right? So be open to applying to a mix of programs.
I'll go for MI. Thank you.
Okay, all right, all the best.
To cities and then get back to you.
Sure, sure, sure. Shrikant Khan Shetty.
Good evening, Aramaji. It was very question. I have come once to Jamburi for counseling, but I was not having any clarity on my questions. So I thought that I will be putting it here so that I can get it. See, I have an experience of around 13 years in ITC, one of the good company.
Yeah, I know ITC.
Don't have a MBA degree. Now I want to do MBA with this experience. But the problem, or else you can you can take it as problem, or else I don't know. But I feel that because I don't have any understanding about it. I met with an accident and I lost my leg. I'm a differently able person right now. I am little confused whether should I opt for an MBA or else should I continue with the same company. Is there any clarity which can be given on that? And how
When
the
so I understand you already have one MBA, right? When did you do that?
No, I don't have MBA. I am a graduate. I'm a BSc graduate.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
working in
have.
ITC, okay, for 15 years.
I am working in IDC. I am at a manager level right now. Recently got promoted. After my accident, I have continued working in the same company. And now my query is my confusion is that whether should I opt for an MBA? If I opt for an MBA through one of the best colleges, well, how the other companies will expect me, accept me? That is my confusion, to be frank.
Uh, I understand. Again, my condolences. I'm sure it would have been a very traumatic incident. So,
Definitely.
now coming to your point of companies recruiting, hiring. So they don't. Even in India, if you decide to do from an ISB, or if you decide to go abroad, so depending on what kind of MBA you go for, if you probably go for the MBA in marketing, so probably where. So there probably it will be a little bit different, but for any other kind of MBA, I haven't seen companies hesitating to recruit differently abled person. So I don't think that should be a problem. Even in India, it's not a problem.
I'm sorry, I didn't put my work experience which stream it is. Actually, I'm into marketing only, and I've been working in the same stream after my accident. Also, after it's been 10 years. Post that I've been working in the same stream, and there is no difficulty in working, as I don't have any issues. After that, also I got promoted. But as I have seen that in any of the companies which I have been looking into, like my friends are there, and some of the top MNCs and the FMCG companies also, they say that in marketing they don't prefer for differently able. As I'm having an experience of 13 years, will there be any shift I need to do, or else will I be able to continue with the marketing because I like marketing?
I know, I mean, but as I said, marketing is the only field probably where they are not, because in marketing is a very front-facing kind of job, you know. So, companies who hire, you know, they always tend to think, you know, what their clients, how would their clients would react to that person, etc. You know, so that's why the only field where I have seen people struggle a bit is actually the marketing. You know, some phone ringing, I think. So,
Sorry, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but everywhere else. So in your case, after 13 years of work experience, I think instead of an MBA marketing, I think you should look for an MBA general management kind of role where you can. I mean, you should with your work experience, you should be able to work in a overall head kind of role, right? So I think if you want to do an MBA, definitely an MBA will add value, and you will not at the admissions level, university admissions level, you will not face any discrimination, obviously. But and the specialization that I would recommend would be the general management recruitment, actually.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. I'll again, I have, dropped my number when we do
Sure.
one-on-one, discussion about it. I'll be able to get a little bit
So
more information.
which city you are you from?
I'm in Bangalore right now. Earlier, I
All
was in
right,
Hyderabad. On my
all right.
job purpose only, I was in Hyderabad, but recently got transferred to Bangalore.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we'll take two more questions. Nishtha Puri. Nishtha Puri, can you unmute yourself?
Ma'am, I've posted my queries in the chat box as well. I just wanted to inquire whether NYU Stern it has deferred program. Also, the university, the Amsterdam University you mentioned earlier, like does it have deferred program?
No, they don't.
Both of the universities.
No, they don't.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, since Nishtha's question was a short one, so we'll take two more questions. So, Saluja Akash Saluja, you can ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am. Hello. Good evening,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes. Good evening. Good evening.
Ma'am, my question is in any case, I want to came back to India and I am pursuing my MIM.
Okay. Yes. Yes,
Hello.
Akash, you are on mute. Yes, I didn't hear your question. You want to come back
Uh,
to India? You want to do MIM? Then
Ma'am, if I am doing MIM and I have completed my 2 years of MIM, and in any case, I want to came back to India. So, is there any is there any job good opportunities in India to with the degree of MIM from outer country?
so, Akash, my advice, not just to you, anybody who wants to go abroad for their any kind of MBA or MIM, you should work there for 2 3 years to make your resume stronger. And then, if you look for jobs in India, you will get a lot of value. But if you just study there and start looking for jobs in India, so that may not be, your CV or your profile may not be that attractive to a recruiter. To add more value to your CV, I would strongly recommend that, even if you do want to come back to India, work outside India for at least 2 years. Just make your CV better.
And ma'am, one more question I want to ask you. In this session, you tell that first, if I am a fresher right now, I have just completed my graduation, and you told in this session that first, if you are a graduate, only a fresher, so you can do MIM, and
Right?
after that MIM, after the MIM, 2 3 years of job and go for the MBA. So is it mandatory to do MBA after the 2 3 years of MIM?
No, of course not. What I'm saying is that if you do an MIM now, then you still have the option of doing an MBA later on if you want to. But if you do an MBA right away, I mean, you are going to do only one MBA in your life, one like at least foreign MBA in your life, right?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
like if you do it immediately right after college, you may not be able to get admission in the best, universities in the world. So that was the point I was trying to make. So when you do the MIM program, you still have the MBA option open for you, but it's not mandatory. Obviously, you can do it if you want to. You don't need to do it if you don't want to.
So, ma'am, what is the basic difference between MBA and MIM?
Okay, so MIM is a MIM is like a foundation course, you can say, especially for freshers, and understanding that they have no real world experience. So the case study method is not implemented very strongly there. In MBA, it is for people. They like to have people who have some real world, real job work experience, and therefore, the kind of jobs also that students get after the degree. So from the same university, an MIM graduate, would get probably about 60-70% of the salary that an MBA graduate would get, right? Because the having the work experience or having that will the level of studying, level of the courses, they are higher than than what you study in the MIM courses.
Okay. So, ma'am, my
Moreover,
one confirming question is that if I have done my MIM and I have done the 2 3 years of job in in MIM only, and then I have to came back to India. So I have opportunity to get a good job in the most reputed companies in India or not.
it will depend on where you did your MIM from. Plus, how have you performed in the 2-3 years of work experience that you would be doing after the MIM degree? It's not just the degree, right? Once you
Okay.
start working, then your
Yeah.
performance in the job is also very important. If all
Yeah.
of those are good, then definitely yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
All right.
That's all from my side.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Saurav, what's your question?
Hi, ma'am. It was a very informative session. Thanks a lot for the session. I just have a small query. Actually, I'm just targeting one specific college. That's Harvard's Business School. The reason being I'm targeting that college because of a professor working there, Mr. Smith. Like, I'm really inspired by his book, and and I really want to get into that college because to want to be part of that college. Of course, the reasons are very obvious. So I'm working with this company called Shahi Exports since last 3.5 years. So I've done my graduation from NIFT. I come from a fashion background. So I'm working with Shahi Exports, and since last 3.5 years, I've got like 4 promotion back to back, and I'm working here as the youngest manager here. And now I'm getting a very good opportunity, like a company name with the name Gap, and
Yeah.
my profile here is like I personally feel it's a very good profile because I'm directly working with Anant Ahuja and Miss Sonam Kapoor. So and it's more like consulting profile. But the role which I'm getting in the other company that is in Gap, that's a very basic profile. But the hike which I'm getting is like way good. Like it's like 100% hike. So is it a good like thought to give it a like? Should I just change my job or should I just continue? Because I'm not sure like whether the current profile which I'm planning to switch will help me with my application or I'm not so sure about that. That's why I'm just a little confused about that.
It's actually a very interesting question, and a lot of people go through the same dilemma. Should I go take up a job or continue with a job where the job profile is very interesting versus should I go with a brand name? So
Right.
very everybody goes through. A lot of people go through this dilemma. However, just let me first go take a step back and so sort of one good thing about your profile is that yours is an uncommon profile. Most Indian students who apply to the apply abroad, so they are either software engineers or CAs. That's
Yeah.
like the most common profile.
Yeah,
But
ma'am.
in your case, you do win the diversity battle, because of your NIFT background, your designing thingy.
Right.
So it is definitely good, right? So, but and if you can, one problem with non-tech kind of background people that I have seen, like you doctors, etc., or journalists. I have worked with photographers also that
Right.
they don't end up getting a high GMAT score. So sort of at the
Right.
very outset, if you do
Yeah.
want to realize your Harvard dream, just get a 700 plus. You have
Yeah.
to give the university a reason, you have to prove to them that you may be from a non-tech or non-quant background,
Right.
non-math background, but you still you are good, decent in IQ to get a 700 plus. So that should be your first target. Okay.
Right, ma'am. Just to add on, like, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Like, just to add
Yeah.
on, like, the profile, like, basically, I've done BF Tech from NIFT. So, and when I gave the NIFT entrance examination back there in 2013, I was all India rank one, and my score was like 98.99 percentile. So I was all India rank one, and I'm a gold medalist of my batch 2017. So,
So,
I think like
so now
I'm
you
able.
just have to kind of
Yeah,
back it up, with a good GMAT score, because that
right.
is going to
So.
be the most recent academic
Mhm.
thing on your
Understood,
profile.
ma'am. So yeah, so quant is not a difficult part for me. So I think like the verbal is still troubling me a lot, but not the quant section for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
noted. So now coming back to your actual question.
right.
See now, the current company that you are working at is also good, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not a local company. Let me put it
No,
that
no, it's
that way.
it's like the biggest export
Yeah,
house
yeah,
of
I
the
know,
country.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's why. Let me finish. So
Yeah.
so if your question was that I am just working at a very small time company and now I'm getting an opportunity with Gap, I would
Yeah.
have said that Gap is definitely a bigger brand name and I mean more visible than your
Right.
current. So go there. But in your case, that's not true. You are already working with a good company where you have got four promotions in three
Right.
years. Your chances of getting excellent letters of recommendation is very
Right.
good with this current
Right.
company. And
Right.
so with your current profile, I'm assuming if you stick for one more year or something, you will end up
Yeah.
getting more promotions maybe.
Right.
And
Definitely.
advantages of working is slightly smaller setup is that your learning curve is very steep, your career graph is very steep, you get to learn, you multitask a lot. So there are definite pluses. So
Right.
in your case, yes, the pay hike, I mean, I am nobody to ask you to give up a pay hike. Obviously,
Yeah.
I don't know your financial situation, but
Right,
if
ma'am.
doing an MBA, if like, talking about like having a good chance at an MBA program, I would say to stick with your current company.
Okay. Yeah. So, ma'am, basically, to be honest, like money is not a matter for me as of now. So, the reason I was planning to switch is because, like I just wanted to have some like something new on my resume. That's the only
No,
reason.
no, 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 not no. Don't go for that. Because
Okay.
staying in the same company for long, also you can make a point about you being loyal and you sticking out and being a
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of
Because
uh,
my
you- yeah,
because I
all of
started
that.
my career in Hong Kong, and there I just stood there for like a year, and then I just switched from there from Hong Kong. So I don't know, like a year experience is not that good. So that's why I'm just sticking with this company since last 3.5 years.
Right, right, right. Sure. And in this current role, do you get international exposure,
Yeah,
international
yeah.
travel?
I do travel. I do travel for
Then do stay.
marketing.
Then do stay with it because in a bigger company,
Right.
your role will be very straight jacketed. You would be
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
become very bureaucratic.
Right, ma'am. Yeah.
So
The very basic role of a merchandiser, which is not at all
yeah,
the
yeah, 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 yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
very
So
basic.
so your profile does look interesting. So are you a Jambori student?
Yeah, ma'am. I'm currently I just enrolled with Jamhuri like a month back, but currently because of some time constraints, I'm not finding a good time for my study. So I'm planning to start with it by next week. So that's what I'm planning
Which
to do.
city are you from?
I put up in Delhi, ma'am.
So do leave a number in the chat. I will ask somebody because your profile is interesting. So I will get we like to work with diverse profiles. So
Definitely, ma'am.
I'll have
Love
somebody
to.
speak to you and check out your profile.
Definitely, ma'am. I will leave my number right there.
All right, guys. So I'm sorry if I could not take up more questions. We are out of time. If I haven't been able to answer your questions, do leave your number in the chat. Someone from our team will reach out to you and speak to you. And tomorrow we have a session, similar session at 7. And the session will be about how to form your career goals essay. So the career go, the university essays, the application essays, they are really very, very important. You may have the best profile on earth, but if you don't know how to present it to the admissions committee through your application essays, you will not get admission, right? So I hope to see some of you back tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great I mean, I was going to say weekend, but have a great evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I said, I hope you have just check your emails about after a week or so. You will get the recording of this session. This session is getting recorded.